Hey, this is X-Cult Baby, and today I want to explore a question with you that has weighed on me for a long time. I started asking this question even when I was a believing, practicing Jehovah's Witness. I kept asking this question when I was a believing, non-practicing Jehovah's Witness, and even now as a full-blown atheist, I still find myself asking, are Jehovah's Witnesses really that homophobic? Let's find out. If you asked a Jehovah's Witness if they would say that they're homophobic, they would probably tell you no. They might cite 1 Peter 2:17 that says, honor men of all sorts. They might also bring up the fact that, since they're politically neutral pacifists, they would never do anything like vote against the human rights of gay people, or participate in any kind of protest against them, or be violent towards them. They're not those fake, evil Christians that show up to pride parades with megaphones or anything like that. They don't go around saying, all F slurs are gonna burn in hell or anything like that. They don't hate gay people. They just can't support the act of two people of the same phenotypical sex having sex with each other. At least, that's their official stance. In my time as a Jehovah's Witness, I have met a few people who are a little bit more on the hateful side of homophobia and transphobia. Elderly witnesses who scoffed in disgust at, bathroom bills. Girls who mentioned offhandedly that they thought this actor was so hot until that they found out that he was gay, and that caused them to recoil visibly. But in my own personal experience, the witnesses who are openly disgusted by the LGBTQ+ community to that extent or further were few and far between. Then again, I know people who have faced much more severe homophobia within the religion. At the very least, the official policy of the organization concerning homosexuality kept those who do feel more strongly about the issue from speaking their minds too openly in mixed company. On paper, this doesn't seem so bad. Could be a lot worse. But here's the thing. You can be nice and still be a homophobe. You can say all you want that you respect all people and, still be homophobic. Homophobia isn't just thinking that gay people are an abomination or trying to limit or strip away their rights. Homophobia is the fundamental notion that being attracted to someone of the same sex or gender is somehow wrong or incorrect, which isn't true. Jehovah's Witnesses make it pretty clear that to them, the issue of homosexuality is a matter of upholding true biblical Christian morality. They believe, based on their interpretation of the Bible, that a man being in a relationship with another man, or more specifically having sex with another man, is in and of itself an immoral act. The Bible doesn't seem to comment on is why homosexuality is supposedly immoral. There's really no basis for the claim that homosexuality is immoral beyond, the Bible says so. And on top of that, they very much act like they're the victims being bullied by the whole evil world trying to get them to conform to this new morality. In their video propaganda, they show LGBTQ+ allies as being very confrontational and pushy.
Shall I put it in the bag, or do you want to wear it now?
Oh, no thank you.
What's wrong, honey? You got something against them?
Well, no, I don't have anything against him personally.
So what's the problem?
I respect that they have a right to choose their lifestyle, but as a Bible reader,
Excuse me! I'm a Bible reader too. I go to church, and our church is one of the biggest supporters for this marathon. So what are you trying to say?
Well, I'm one of Jehovah's Witnesses, and we believe the Bible teaches sex is for a man and a woman who are married.
Intolerant people.
Your parents must be really proud of you. Well, my moms are both really proud of me. I was raised by two wonderful women, life partners.
My assistant Marty, I recently found out that he's gay.
You say that like there's something wrong with it. Do you have a problem?
Tess, don't do this.
Why? There's nothing wrong with being gay.
Tess, we live by the Bible's moral standards, but we don't force our beliefs on other people, and we don't judge anyone either.
But you do think being gay is wrong.
One of the reasons that they try to use to back up their claim that homosexuality is immoral is that God just knows what's best for us, and He designed us specifically for heterosexual relationships.
And God's word says that sex is meant to be between a man and a woman who are married to each other.
Look, I don't mean to be rude, sir, but the world has changed.
Look, I know not everyone agrees with us, but we all have free will. and God lets us choose to live by his standards or not. If we go against his standards, we end up hurting ourselves. He just wants what's best for us.
Carrie drew two mommies. She told me they're married to each other. My teacher says that all that matters is that people love each other and that they're happy.
Well, people have their own ideas about what is right and wrong. But what matters is how Jehovah feels. He wants us to be happy, and he knows how we can be happiest. That's why he invented marriage the way he did.
You mean one man and one woman?
Exactly.
One of the leaders of the Jehovah's Witnesses, governing body member Anthony Morris, has been known to give a sermon in which he tells his audience that homosexuals in the fashion industry are getting straight guys to show off their junk for them by designing men's pants to be tight-fitting. He's also made mention on an episode of JW Broadcasting that some homosexual men target children, thus perpetuating the idea that members of the LGBTQ+ community are more likely to be pedophiles and child predators. And as a believing Jehovah's Witness, I heard him say those words and nodded along, though he had no proof to back up his claim. It was just taken for granted that anything a member of the governing body would say would be true. And I remember my dad told me once that the reason homosexual relationships are immoral is that, the man is supposed to be the head of the household according to biblical headship arrangement. So if the relationship has two men or no men at all, there would be no one in the relationship to enforce headship. In other words, misogyny. And on top of that, again, no proof to back up the claim that men always having the final say in the relationship is somehow the best way to run the relationship. All witnesses can do, really, is make assertions about how homosexuality goes against design, or that it's unnatural, or that it isn't good for the people doing the homosexual acts, or that it makes them prone to being a pervert, with no evidence to back up any of those claims. In fact, if they would actually do some research outside of the Bible, the evidence points to the exact opposite. Resigning yourself to celibacy for your entire life as opposed to being in a gay relationship is not better for people. Nor is it unnatural, as there are perfectly sound scientific explanations for why and how homosexuality appears, not only in human populations, but in many animal species. And it definitely doesn't make you more prone to being a child predator or make you engage in some sort of weird fashion conspiracy to get straight guys to show you their butts. But the bottom line is, Jehovah's Witnesses don't think their views are harmful, which is why they claim that they're not homophobic. They're not discriminating against people or using hate speech or committing acts of violence, so in their minds, they're not homophobic. The truth of the matter is, even the most respectful witnesses are still promoting the idea that homosexuality is a sin, and that in and of itself is harmful. I'm speaking from experience on that. My family was a particularly progressive one, especially among fundamentalist Christians. They believed in science, for the most part. They denied macroevolution, but they weren't young Earth creationists or climate change deniers. They believed in education and took the field of psychology seriously. They even respected the pronouns of trans people, at least when they were in the room, and they weren't generally judgmental people. And when I came out as bisexual to my parents, they didn't berate me for choosing to sin or any of that kind of bullshit. They told me that I wasn't a bad person just because I was attracted to girls. Although that did leave the implication that I would be a bad person if I actually went and had sex with girls. I felt a little comfort that they hadn't, completely abandoned me in that moment, but I still felt like there was a whole world inside myself that I was forbidden to explore. Even though I told them I was attracted to girls, I was still expected to act straight and only pursue heterosexual relationships. I could be out, just not out and proud. I might as well have still been in the closet. Now, instead of it being a secret, it was an unspoken truth, and that really wasn't much of an improvement. And this became a big problem when I fell in love with a trans guy and a cis woman. I kept trying to suppress my feelings by praying and reading the Bible and all of that stuff, and it really didn't help. I didn't want to get out of the bed in the morning. I was constantly depressed and unmotivated. I really just wanted to stop existing. And I tried to end my friendship with the people that I had fallen in love with, and that just... It felt like I was grieving. I couldn't come up with a satisfying reason why we shouldn't be together. My heart hurt all the time, and I was totally miserable. In the end, I moved out of my parents' house and left the religion. It wasn't just because I wanted to sin, it was because I wanted to live. I really thought that if I stayed in that situation, I would end up dead. Even then, I still thought that God was going to kill me in Armageddon. I figured if I was going to have my life cut short, I would rather be living the rest of my life happily than in misery. Unfortunately, not all of the people that have been in my situation would have left. Some would have lived an unfulfilled life in the closet, while others might have pursued the short path that I feared I would have ended up on. The kind of homophobia that Jehovah's Witnesses promote, although it doesn't seem to be inspired by hatefulness, it still is incredibly damaging. It takes lives. I was one of the lucky ones. I'm not afraid to say that I'm pansexual now for fear of rejection. My fiancé is a cis man, and he doesn't care that I'm attracted to other genders. It's only one aspect of who I am, but it is a part of who I am. And now I don't have to hide or suppress that part of me anymore, and it is a huge relief. That's it for this video. If you have any experiences regarding this topic you'd like to share, leave them in the comments below. I'm XCultBaby, reminding you to go free yourself. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to click like, leave a comment letting me know what you think, subscribe and ring the bell to see more from me in the future, and share this video with anyone who might enjoy it. Social media links and my email address are in the description if you want to contact me or follow me on any other platforms. An extra special thanks to all of my patrons. I really appreciate your generosity and support.